Alright guys, we're back on the 1968 Corvair build for my buddy Dave. And we're making some changes again. I thought I had this whole thing figured out, and now all of a sudden I've decided that I'm going to make changes, which is going to make this build continue for a little while longer. But there's a particular reason why I'm making these changes. As you know, this is a build for my buddy Dave, and I'm trying to recreate his car, which is why I'm painstakingly trying to get this color right for his car. And if you've been following the build, you already know of my painting issues with the particular color that I'm using. But I've just found another color which I think is even closer to what's in his car. So that's something that we'll be covering in a future video. For now, I've discovered something about these kits which pertains right to his car, and I'm going to clue you guys into it so you can see where I'm at with the build so far. Now, as you can see, this is the original build of Dave's car, as you can tell, because, well, obviously it's painted. Now, this kit, according to Scalemates, was originally released in 1967, and I'll put a picture of the box right there. You'll see the box art. Now, this car here was released in 1988, and I'll show you what that one looks like right there. Now, both of these cars are from AMT. This one was released under the AMT badge, this one under the AMT Ertl banner. Now, this one is just a re-release of this kit, which was made from an original tooling, which, from what I can see on Scalemates, was released in 1965. And they just kept modifying it year after year, you know, as these companies do in order to save a little money. Now, I was looking at pictures of Dave's car, and then I was looking at this one, and I noticed this one has no marker lights. Meanwhile, Dave's car does. Dave's car also has a different badge, not this round badge on the trunk lid. He's got a square badge. And I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to put a picture of that right there so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And so, obviously, unless I shave this down and replace the badge, this trunk just will not do. Now, if we look at the reissued body from 1988, you can see that when they reissued it, they actually, let's see if you can see this, included the side marker lights. I don't know if you can see that, but the side marker lights are, there they go, are there for the front and the rear. And they actually removed that round badge here, which means that I can make my own badge and put it on the trunk lid. They also changed the entire trunk lid. As you can see, the body line here goes all the way to the end of the trunk lid, while here it stops more along, almost just a little past halfway. Now, as I can see here, the rest of the body is pretty much the same. You can tell the age of the mold from the 1960s, which has a very crisp and clean mold, to 1988, where we're starting to get flash on the body from the molds wearing out. So this is going to require a bit more cleanup and then a repaint, or a painting, not repaint. Now, what I also noticed is that this particular car had issues here on the door where you can see line for where they had to, I don't know if they had to repair the original tooling, which left an indentation here. I've gotten rid of most of it on this one. While the 1988 model is perfectly smooth, no indentation here at all, even though it still has the original mold line here. This here, as smooth as can be. But where they fixed this, they then left, I don't know if you can see it here, there are 4 low spots, dips, in the body. I mean, in the hood here, along with low spots here on the edges of the hood. The same as we had in this car, where we had only the low spots on the edges. There was nothing on the hood itself. Now those low spots are because we have the mounting pins, and then we have the pins for installing the interior. Whereas on the kit from 1988, we only have the 2 chassis mounting pins. We don't have them for the interior. All we have are these 2 little nubs here, these 2 little tabs instead of the full pins for mounting the interior. So I guess they changed that in the mold. So we're now going to go through the entire process of prepping and painting this body, as this is the one we're going to be using for Dave's car. And we'll use this one for another build at some point in the future. Now let's take a look at some of the other differences between the 2 kits. Now, if we look at the interiors, I'm already prepping the interiors for Dave's car, but I wanted to show you something about these. I've already taken this one apart, removed all the custom pieces that I made for it. This is the seat that comes with the original kit. And as you can see, the interior trim has horizontal buttons going across the back of the seat. And the pleating of the seat is a little bit different. Now, Dave's car has the buttons going vertically and a completely different seat design. Now, I'm going to put a picture of Dave's seats right about here, so you can see that the re-release of this kit from 1988, they included new tooling for the seats to match the later version of the car. Now let's take a look at the interior tub itself. The dashboards are the same. Let's just take out all of the pieces that I made for Dave's car. But if we look at the door panel, this is the door panel for the original release kit. You can see it's got the horizontal buttons going all the way back to the rear seats with the pleats in the seat up and down. You can see the pleated door panel. Now, take a look at how different this door panel is. First, we only have 1 window crank instead of the 2 in the front. Our buttons going across, there's a lot less of them, a lot less pleating, and then you have a completely lower design here that's different from the other seat. Now this does look like Dave's seat, which I'll put a picture of that right here so you guys can take a look at that. And then we can see this one also has the vertical buttons, and the pleating on the seats is much different than what came on the original kit. So they did come up with a completely different design for the interior of the later model kit to match the newer version of the car. Now, as you can see the dashboard here, the dashboard's the same between the 2, as far as I could tell. I already modified this one for the automatic transmission, such as what Dave has, and installed a different steering wheel, which more closely resembles what's in Dave's car. Let's see if we can get a good look at that there. So this dash will go right back into here, and the aftermarket armrest and the 2 armrests for the door panels, which I made, are going back into this interior from this car. So we're going back to the drawing board for the work on the Corvair. And by the time we're done, we're going to have a much more accurate version of Dave's car. Alright guys, oh, one last thing of note on this build. This is the latest wheel that I've just had painted up. This is using all-clad chrome and all-clad aqua gloss clear. Now, one thing I noticed is that when I ordered these wheels, I didn't notice, and this was my fault, that they are two different offsets for these wheels. We have the shallow ones for the front and the deeper ones for the rear. So I didn't notice that, and that I had put one of the deeper offset wheels in the front of Dave's car, so that's going to require just a swapping of the wheel. As if we look at the chassis here, you can see that it's a much deeper wheel than this one is. The offset is completely off, different than the replacement wheel. And now the other three wheels do have the correct offset. So we're just going to have to replace that one. And then we'll be done with our wheels and tires. Alright guys, that's the update on the Corvair. And we're getting right back to work on it. Alright, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next one.